Hi guys, Currency Games here with our weekly outlook for the week coming, and that is the week of the 28th of November. So let's start from the weekly time frame as usual on Eurusd. Can you remember a few or 2 weeks ago we were talking about this weekly order block and how I'm not saying we're gonna go completely bearish from it, but it's a point where we can expect consolidation and retracements on the lower time frames. Okay, you don't just pick these weekly order blocks just to pick a top. You pick them as places where you can expect retracements. Okay, now if we were getting price action here where price is trending downwards, then you can expect a weekly order block here to hold as a top to go bearish. But when you're in a bullish environment and we've broken market structure to the top, to the upside, we don't want to be expecting these price levels here to hold as a complete sell-off point for it to go short, because it's, for me personally and probably for a lot of people, it's not a lot of confidence to go short from these points right here. Okay, so a couple of weeks ago we marked this out as a point where we can consolidate on the lower time frames. Okay, coming down to the weekly time frame, we also coming down on the weekly time frame as we already were. You can see we have a fair value gap here on the weekly time frame. I'm not going to mark it out purely because we know it's there, but that's something to notice. And another thing to also mark out as well would be this weekly high right here. Okay, it'll be interesting to see how price reacts to this level as well. Okay, in regards to the range that we're working with on the weekly time frame, we're from this high to this low here. We haven't yet dropped down into the discount of that range. Okay, so if we do tap this weekly high, we can also expect maybe a possible deeper retracement down to more of a discount level on the fair value gap, but that's dependent on when and if we reach this high up here. Okay, something to note out. Coming down to the sorry, let's put that there. Chart hygiene is important, put that there. Coming back to the daily time frame. Okay, remember last week we had this fair value gap here marked out as a point that we could see bullish prices from. Okay, we hit that and we had bullish prices. That's something we would talk about last week. Now again, on the daily time frame, we need to look at the range we're in from this high to this low. Again, same thing as the weekly, we have not yet come down to the 50% level. So when we do reach this premium level, this premium high here on the daily, which is also the weekly high, again, need to be careful because price could then make a deep retracement, possibly down to this fair value gap, which is probably worth marking out, to be fair, which is in a more discount level on the daily time frame. 2 seconds. Okay, right there. So this is another level we could see possibly get reached. If we pierce this high, raid it, we could see price drop lower into this. Okay, but this will take a while to form. Unless you just drop straight away at the start of the week, this will take a while to form. Okay, going into the H4 time frame. Now H4 is looking quite bullish, to be fair. We broke market structure to the upside and we've come down onto the H4 and we have tapped into this H4 fair value gap resting just here. As we tapped down here, we had quite a bullish candle. Didn't really we engulfed the body of the previous candle after we pierced this fair value gap. However, we should note this H4 order block just here could hold as resistance, possibly to come down one more time to then go up again. But I'm not going to mark it out because it's going to make the chart way too messy and it's going to irritate me. But in all honesty, I've got to mark out as well this daily order block we have here as well. In all honesty, I need to see if we do dip back down, possibly take out this low and possibly tap this daily order block, which is also in this H4 order block, how we react to the upside. Because at the moment, we're kind of stuck in the middle of the range here on the H4 from this high to this low here. Okay, we did come down to 62%, which is pretty much OTE, but in all honesty, I will want to see another drop down here and positive price action to prove us to go bullish, if that makes sense. As of right now, the PA is not really giving me that much confidence to start buying. I won't break ourselves either, but it's not giving me that much confidence to start buying. Okay, if we drop down to the H1 again, you can see H1 structure is still remaining bearish, still bearish. We do have a small fair value gap here, but still I want to see how possibly this order block holds or this fair value gap holds, or if we drop down and take out this low. Because at the moment, as I said before, it's not giving me confidence to start buying at the moment. Okay, if we do get buys, as I said, this daily high here and this weekly high here would possibly be good targets to liquidate our positions. But as of right now, I need to see more confluence to say we're ready to push up. Okay, and at the moment I do not have that. Yeah. Okay, so this fair value gap here and this daily order block here will be very interesting to see how we react to these levels. Okay, now going on to Eurgbp. Now Eurgbp is looking a little bit cleaner in regards to what we can expect. Okay, on the weekly time frame, we've had this fair value gap marked out for ages. Like we've been talking about this fair value gap for weeks now, and how prices just literally made the low there. Now going into this week, what I want to see a dip into this level, okay, and possibly pierce it and come straight back up. So we've got a low here on the weekly. We can raid this low into this fair value gap and then push back up. Will be very nice and target these highs in the future. But on the daily time frame, again, we've got fair value gaps here nested within that PD array as well, which is quite clean. So at the moment, we will be focusing on shorts until we reach this weekly fair value gap, because we still have not tapped it yet. Okay, the daily time frame, you'll notice we have an order block here resting. We've got quite a long wick on here. When you have order blocks with quite a long wick, you do want to pay attention to the price action as within these wicks here, because sometimes if you just use the body of these candles, you'll miss an entry, probably because there's still some sort of volume on the lower time frames within these wicks. Within these wicks here. Okay, going down to the H4. Now there's two levels here of the H4 I want to pay close attention to. First of all, we have this H4 order block, and we have a H4 high also just below this order block, and there is also a H4 fair value gap just there as well. Okay, now it's probably worth me marking out that fair value gap as well, but I don't like having so much markings out on my chart. It just makes it so messy. So for now, I'm just going to keep this H4 order block marked out here. Okay, if this H4 order block level fails, we could then possibly look for this second level up here to hold, where a high is also resting just here. Okay, in the second level here, we have the breaker block and we also have the fair value gap, both from the H4, and that is still within that daily order block here. Okay, in all honesty, this level here might be much more of a powerful resistance than this level, but we could also reverse from here. So we have 2 points we can look for reversals from. It will be probably worth waiting for Tuesday or Wednesday to see if we create a high of the week in one of these areas to possibly push short. In all honesty, I don't expect majorly bullish price action to pass above this breaker block here and this fair value gap, purely because it looks like we're so close to this weekly fair value gap, and I do want to see price dip into it. Now, if we do dip into the weekly fair value gap here before we tap these levels, then in all honesty, these levels might not hold. These levels, in my opinion, are most likely to hold if we get here before we tap this weekly fair value gap. Why is that? Because this fair value gap's on a weekly time frame. If we're gonna tap levels on a weekly time frame and expect daily and H4 levels to hold, trade probabilities will drop massively. Okay, so providing we don't tap this fair value gap before we get into these levels here, that's I'll be looking for shorts. If we do tap this fair value gap beforehand, we need to step back a bit, regroup, look at the chart again, and see what price is telling us. Okay, but yeah, that is my weekly analysis, my overview for the week ahead. I hope you guys found some insight in that. And yeah, guys, we're almost at 50 subscribers, so come on, man, let's try to smash that target. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow on our daily log.